All right, we're back on the record. Apologize for the delay. I want to thank our excellent Wake County services for their time of response. We've come up with at least a temporary solution that ought to work, so hopefully we won't have any further interruptions. Ms. Manette.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson, where we stopped, we were talking a little about the Billy Idol hair, I think.
Yes. His blonde flyaway hair, yes.
All right. Moving into this picture, what are we seeing?
We're seeing that Alan and my father went to the PGA tournament, Augusta, I believe, and they came home with those baseball hats and they tried them on for a picture.
Did they like the hats?
Yes, they did.
And we're going to talk about this a little later too, but you mentioned the PGA Tour. Is there something about golf in your family?
Yes, Alan, I married a scratch golfer, which meant his handicap was 3 and below, and pros have a handicap of 0.
So golf was something that Alan was into?
Yes. And then they had the plastic little Fisher-Price golf clubs, and they would play with those. And then later on, my father bought James real golf clubs that were for his size.
So is that an interest that Alan and your dad shared?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Did either of the boys ever pick that up at all?
James did a little bit more than Austin did, but they liked to just play around with the ball and sometimes in the sand traps at the driving range.
So moving on to there we go. This set of pictures here. What are we looking at in these pictures?
That was Halloween again, obviously, and they had gone. That was the first movie we ever took them to, was the Cars movie, and so Austin wanted that, and I found a costume, and James he didn't mind what costume he wore, and he liked that one, so we picked that one up at the store.
So he was into it for Austin.
Yes.
And I noticed the date on the photo is 10/30, so that's the day before Halloween.
Right.
Is there a reason they're all dressed up that day as opposed to Halloween?
Yes, it could have been either for school they wore their costume, as long as they had an open face, and it also could have been that was the trick-or-treating assigned evening for the neighborhood.
Moving forward one, this looks like it is the Halloween day. What are we seeing in this photo?
We always read them Dr. Seuss books at night, so we went with the Dr. Seuss theme, and I made the costumes for them, and then we went trick-or-treating around the neighborhood.
And you said you made those costumes?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
And is this you in a matching costume too?
Yes, it is.
Now I noticed that Alan isn't in this picture.
He's taking the pictures.
He's taking the pictures. Did he join you in the family costume?
No, it was not his thing.
Not
but that's okay.
But this was one of your things with the boys, is that
yes. Right? Mm-hmm. That's my favorite holiday, is Halloween.
And you mentioned that you read the boys' Dr. Seuss books. Did Austin have a favorite?
I think his favorite was, which he memorized very quickly, was the Dr. Seuss, something with a foot book. Big feet, little feet. That's what I think it's called. And
so at this point, I think Austin still would have been about 3 and James about 4, is that right?
4.5, yes.
4.5. And as they're getting a little older and have a little more personality, what is their relationship like?
They got along really well. They hardly ever even play wrestled. They barely ever did that. They got along very well. And then when they got a little bit older than that, they would sit and they would put Legos together and follow the booklet.
So at this point, are they still doing that parallel play, or are they playing with each other?
They were playing with each other a lot of the times.
All right. I apologize for all the technology issues, but my clicker does not seem to want to work. There we go. There we go. What is this photo?
This is our church at New Hope Baptist Church. They offered to take pictures, and they were making a church book with all of the people that attended.
And at this point, how was your family involved in the church?
We went every Sunday, and we also went to Sunday school right after the service. And the boys, for their age bracket, they also had Sunday school, geared for their age, of course.
And here we are with some more golf. Is this Austin playing golf?
It is, yes.
And are those the clubs that your dad bought for James?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So would both boys play with them sometimes?
Yes, they would. Mm-hmm. And they had no problem taking turns.
What are we seeing in this photo?
We are seeing the one night every year that I did not mind having a huge mess. That is Christmas Eve making cookies.
And did you do this every year with the boys?
Yes. I liked it.
Even as they got older, into their teen years, did you do this?
I think we did, but we scaled off on doing that for the whole evening. But yes, we would go to church service on Christmas Eve, and we'd usually be done earlier. Like, I want to say we would be out of Christmas Eve service by like 6-ish, and then we would pick up something to eat a lot of times, and then we did the cookies at night.
Did some of those cookies get left for Santa?
Yes, they always agreed to leave 3 or 4 on the plate for Santa. So it was okay.
And what is in this photo?
They are trying soccer for the first year. And James enjoyed it more than Austin did. So James finished the whole year and Austin did not.
Now, you talked, when you were testifying earlier last week, you talked about how both boys were really athletic, but
Yes, they
that
were.
James sort of liked it more than Austin.
Yes.
And was that true throughout their whole lives?
Yes, pretty much. Austin did do at least 2 seasons of upward basketball, but he was good at it. He just wasn't into it as much as James was.
Did you ever notice any sort of jealousy or anything else that Austin may have had for James being more into sports or anything like that?
No, I never noticed that Austin minded. And growing up, the 3 of us would go and watch James. Austin would come with us. So, no, it wasn't an issue.
Did he seem to enjoy cheering on his brother?
It seemed like it, yes.
And what is this picture?
That is them loving to be at the pool every summer. They enjoyed it very much. They really enjoyed playing around in the pool, and then they were on the swim team for a couple of years also, the neighborhood swim team.
And what are we seeing here?
You are seeing Austin sitting on Uncle Travis, Alan's older brother. I believe it was his 50th birthday that we drove in for.
And so at this point, Austin would have been almost 5, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a lot of pictures with some extended family. Can you tell me about the extended family that was involved with y'all?
Sure. The only extended family on my side was when my parents would fly in once a year and stay for 4 to 5 days. And we always made it a point to drive to see Grandma every other month. We would take the boys, and we would also invite her to any school events that were going on, such as when they graduated from preschool. And we would always see Alan's side of the family for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And were there cousins?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. There were 2 nieces from the Greensboro area in North Carolina, and the niece and nephew are his two children, and that's in Whiteville, North Carolina, which is 2 hours away.
So lots of family celebrations.
Yes, we did. And that is the swim team that I mentioned earlier.
The picture on the left, is that Austin?
It is, uh-huh.
And is he holding up a ribbon?
Yes, they did.
But the picture on the right shows both boys proudly displaying their wins.
Yes, after the swim meet. Mm-hmm.
And what are we seeing in this picture?
We are seeing a playground picture. I'm pretty sure that was also in Whiteville.
And is
Just a day with spending the weekend with Grandma and then going to that playground.
and is that you in Austin?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So at this point, he would have been 5 and about to go into kindergarten. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What was your relationship like with him at that point?
Oh, everything was good. It was just a normal, 2 little boys. And I had to keep everything on track, like to make sure I had the bags packed for the next morning and that type of thing, so that it was not a fire drill. And it worked. Got the hang of it. And they were very good. They would get up and get ready. They were pretty independent.
So even at 5, they were 5 and 6. They were doing a good job of getting themselves ready for school.
Yes, and we would. I'd have them pick out their clothes the night before to make it a little easier, more smooth. And yeah, they did pretty well on routines. I think preschool helped a lot with that also.
And around this time period, what were Austin's interests?
We'd just say regular playing with toys at home and being on the playground and going to the pool. Just normal little kid stuff. And they liked the Noggin channel.
What's the Noggin channel?
It's a channel just for babies through young children age brackets. Like it wouldn't be SpongeBob or Tom and Jerry cartoons or anything like we would watch when we were kids. It was all geared towards young children.
Okay. Now, what are we seeing in this photograph?
You are seeing the only male cousin that they have, Brandon, and they are at the beach having fun again.
And so in that upper right photograph, is that James and Austin flanking their cousin?
Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And then on the left, is that Austin trying to show something off that he found?
It looks like some type of seashell he's trying to show us.
Oh, I've got it. And this, I don't know if you can see it, but down in the left corner, it says 2012-2013.
Mm-hmm.
So was this a school photograph?
Yes, it is. It's a school photograph. Mm-hmm.
And how old would he have been there?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. I'm noticing his hair is all styled. Was that special for that photograph?
No, actually they liked, Alan would put gel in their hair and comb it over every morning before school.
So both boys?
Yes, they started out that way. Yes, every morning.
And what is this photograph?
This is clearly right around Christmas time, and they're just posing for us. And if I'm not mistaken, we also took casual family photos that day and put it on a Christmas card.
And you talked a little earlier about sort of your Christmas tradition with the cookies.
Yep.
Were there any other big holiday traditions?
The only other tradition was that we would always celebrate Christmas at their grandmother's house with Alan's side of the family, obviously, because they lived in North Carolina.
And this photograph here, what are we looking at?
One of the lakes near Whiteville, North Carolina, and Grandma, and Alan, of course.
So the picture on the left, that's Alan's mom in the background?
Yes.
And then the picture on the right obviously has Alan
Yes.
in it. And this lake was one of the places they like to go in Whiteville?
Yes, and then they would like to go to, they have a couple of good seafood restaurants around there, and they would always like to enjoy eating there also.
One second. There we go. Looking at this photo, what are we seeing?
We're seeing the first day of school. It looks like first and second grade.
What is James's expression there?
I don't know, it's just fun. When we told them, okay, ready? And then that's the face that they made.
So Austin would have been going into first grade here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How did he like school?
Oh, he actually did well in school, and he liked it just fine. And there wasn't a whole lot of homework when they came home from school.
What would they do after school at this time period?
They would play outside at that age and play with the Legos that I mentioned before, and they would, we graduated from the Noggin Little Children's Channel. They liked some of the shows on Nickelodeon.
And did they go to an after-school program, or was somebody?
Yes, they went to an after, I'm sorry, I didn't say, yes, they did, because I worked till 5, and so did Alan. Alan worked till 6 usually. So I would pick them up after school every day.
Now, what are we seeing in this photograph?
We are seeing our trip to Disney in October for Halloween, and I made Fred Flintstone, or the Flintstones theme for the 4 of us.
So this time Alan joined in?
Yes, just for a couple of hours. Yes, he brought this t-shirt with him.
Disney will make you do strange things, huh?
Yes, Disney does that to you.
Did you go to Disney any other times besides this trip?
No, just this one time we went, and they had a great time.
Is this another photograph from that trip?
Yes, it is.
All right. I think we're into 2014. What is this photograph?
This looks like we are just finished church, and one of our neighbors took a picture for us.
And would this have been at your home?
Yes, it is outside of our house. Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been previous testimony for Austin's entire life. Y'all lived in that same house in Pettigrew?
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go. So this is a video, but before we play it, what is happening here?
This was an event at Trinity Baptist Church that they had once a year. It was like a fun day. It was on a Saturday, and it was a free event that they had for all the church folks and their families. And it would be that, and it would be like hot dogs and popcorn and cotton candy type of theme.
So this is Trinity Baptist. Did you switch churches at some point?
We did when they were a little bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this was just some sort of carnival that they had there?
Yep, they had that once a year.
And is this you right here?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Now, I notice that Austin is wearing high socks in some of these photographs.
Yeah.
Did he like knee-high socks?
He likes the knee-high socks that were the athletic. They were either Nike or Under Armour. He liked his socks to coordinate with his outfits, which is fair. But yes, he definitely preferred the high knee socks over the mid what I would call the more traditional or more common length, but he liked he was comfortable in those for some reason.
And you said he liked to coordinate his entire outfit.
Yes, he did.
So down at the bottom corner, if you can't see it, it says 2014 to 15. So
Yep.
that would have been about second grade.
Yes, that would be his school picture. Mm-hmm.
He's got some new teeth growing in.
Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned to me before that Austin had to have some dental work at different points.
Yes, when he was a toddler, he had a cavity that was in between both of his bottom molars. So he had to be put under for that.
That sounds. You've identified that at points as being something that was a more difficult experience than I think expected. Can you tell me a little more about what happened there?
We thought that the dentist thought that they could just give him some type of a, I'm going to say, I think it was like a laughing gas. Mm-hmm. And I took the day off of work and I took him to that dentist, but she tried to do it and tried to play a movie at the same time, but he wasn't reacting. He was getting more of an angry response for that, and the dentist said that that's pretty normal or pretty common reaction for children that don't do well with laughing gas, that it makes them angry. So we had to go to a specialty pediatric dentist that actually put him under completely to have his 2 cavities filled on his bottom tooth.
Did those experiences or any other dental experiences you have cause any reaction with him? Did he struggle?
No, he didn't. He just had one where his older, I don't know, I want to say maybe middle school-ish, that I took him to get a dental cleaning and the hygienist accidentally slipped and did a small cut on his gum, which of course would shock anyone. But then it was fine. He just had a regular cleaning.
All right. And what is this photo here?
That looks like Easter. And we're in our yard for that.
And is that you with the 2 boys?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So at this point, we're getting into Austin being almost 8, and
Yep.
James would have been
9.5
at this point. What was their relationship like at this point, upper elementary?
They were really close. They did really well together. Even though they had separate bedrooms, they always played together, and they would watch TV shows together, whether it be SpongeBob, and when they were younger it was the Dora the Explorer or something. And they would play ball together inside and outside. And they definitely enjoyed going to the pool every season.
And this is another video, but tell me what we're looking at here.
I believe we're looking at Labor Day at Creedmoor Lake, I'm pretty sure. And we spent the afternoon there.
So, in that video, was that the boys enjoying the water?
Yes, they always enjoyed being in the water, as you could see. And they were decent swimmers too.
Now, what are we seeing in this photograph here?
We are seeing them going on one of their hunting outings, and I believe that is a couple hours away from Raleigh.
Okay. And so we've got, this is Alan right here,
Yes.
and then James, and then Austin.
Yep.
And so we're looking at 2017, so Austin would have been about 9.5 there, is that right?
Yes.
And James would have just turned 11.
Yes.
So Alan has testified about how he would take the boys hunting.
Yes.
Tell me a little about this hobby.
They got into it about that age, and they would go squirrel, dove, and turkey hunting during season. And those were the 3 that I remember off the top of my head.
And were you aware of any gun safety instruction or anything else that went on as part of this?
Yes, we all sat down. I remember on a living room couch one afternoon, and Alan going through how to always keep the safety on, and that we never keep the ammunition in the gun. It's always a separate location, or we keep it in the box. We never load it. And that they only load it and are while Alan is present, and it was usually just for the hunting trip itself. When I say hunting trip, I mean Saturday and Sunday.
And at this point, we're talking about the boys being a little younger, but
Yes.
Did any way that they ever interacted with the guns or with hunting cause you any concern?
No, it did not. Not at all. 'Cause we told them, Alan told them about the safety of it, and that you respect guns, and they're not a toy. You just go hunting with it.
Of the 2 boys, did one take to hunting more than the other?
Austin preferred hunting over James. Yes.
And as the years progressed, did all 3 of them continue to hunt?
No, as they got older, it was mostly Alan and Austin, and then James and I would be home for the weekend, and we would go to like adventure landing or some type of putt-putt activity while they were gone Saturday and Sunday.
Would you say that hunting was something that Austin and Alan bonded over?
Yes, they enjoyed it.
I believe there's also been testimony about fishing. Was that another activity that Alan did with the boys?
Yes, James enjoyed it more because Austin got a little bit seasick, so it was hard. So he only fished a few times, especially with salt water. It rocked the boat too much.
So would Alan and James go fishing sometimes without Austin?
Sometimes they would, yes.
So overall, would you say that each boy's individual interests were nurtured?
Oh, yes, definitely. And we never pushed them. As I mentioned, Austin only did a couple seasons of upward basketball, and we didn't push him to say, you have to do it next year, or any of that. We let them go at the pace that they wanted to.
Oops, skipped one, I think. Go back. There we go. Now, what is this picture?
That is Austin taking a selfie of all of us, and it looks like we're on our way to church.
And I'm still noticing that gelled hair.
Yes, they definitely liked the gel in the hair and to comb it over, yep. And then eventually they did that themselves.
And this one has the year 1819 at the bottom. So doing the math, that would have been his 6th grade photograph?
Yeah, 6th grade at Riverbend Middle School.
And so we're getting into 2018 and 2019, so we're just shy of the pandemic, and he's in 6th grade. What were his primary interests at this point?
They liked to play the computer games. They were both good in school. They made merit roll, I remember, in middle school. They just had the normal tween age group boy activities. They both had bikes that they liked to ride. And they'd like to throw the football in the street. Just normal kid stuff.
And did both boys have friends?
They did, but they were mainly school friends, or we didn't have many kids like in and out of the house and having lunch and all that. They just mainly school friends that I just said, and also sometimes they would go down to the playground and throw the football around with the other neighborhood kids.
And what are we seeing in this photograph?
You are seeing a gathering in Whiteville, North Carolina, with Grandma directly behind Austin.
Right here?
Yes, and then to the left of the grandmother is Alan's older brother, his wife, and their 2 kids.
Okay. And this here is Austin and this
Yep.
James?
Yes.
And are we still seeing that style of the socks matching the outfit?
Yes. He's stuck with that. Yes.
And the tall socks?
Yes, he liked those.
So this photograph, tell me what we're seeing in this one.
It looks like they're at Home Depot or Lowe's having fun, and Grandma is in the background. I was not there for that.
Is this Austin pushing the wheelbarrow?
It is.
And
yes.
James is inside of it?
Yep. It's middle school.
Does this sort of sum up their relationship?
Yes, definitely. They got along very well.
All right, and what are we seeing in this photograph?
I believe that's their squirrel hunting, excuse me, turkey hunting trip, sorry. I didn't see the bottom photograph.
I imagine that during COVID, hunting was one of the few activities that didn't stop.
Right, it was, and yes, because you're outdoors and you didn't have to have a mask every time. Yep, it was a nice break to get outdoors and do something else.
While we are here, let's talk for a minute about COVID.
Sure.
Tell me how the COVID pandemic affected your family.
The pandemic affected us by, at my job, I believe I had to start working from home around April of the pandemic, and the boys, their school stopped also, and they had to do online school in the same time frame. And I remember they always got up, they always did their work, they were very responsible, and Alan started to be a handyman because his company was closing because of COVID. And I was at the kitchen table Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 taking calls. And after the boys were done with their online school, they would take turns playing the video game, which was right within earshot of where I was working. And they were always acted respectful, and they didn't yell or make any noise while I was working. And then we would normally eat dinner together.
We, I think as a society, have heard a lot of stories of people being really affected by the social isolation of COVID. Did you notice any concerning sort of responses that the boys had to being home all the time?
No, I didn't notice anything. They seemed to handle it pretty well. And then they would also, as I mentioned earlier, they would go outside. Sometimes the 3 of them, sometimes just James and Austin, go outside and throw the football just to get some air. You know, because you are inside all the time in front of a computer going to school.
And for some people, being kind of cooped up with the same people all the time led to negative interactions. Was that anything that happened to y'all?
Surprisingly, no. Surprisingly, it just was an even keel the whole year and a half or so that it lasted. So we did pretty good for that.
Now, what are we seeing in this photograph?
They are on one of their trips, and I'm not sure if that is Tennessee or the mountains. I'm not sure which one it is.
And so would that be Alan, James, and Austin?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They had fun with their weekends together.
Would Alan take them out of town frequently?
Yes, I'd say he took them a couple times a year for a long holiday weekend to the mountains. They enjoyed it. I couldn't do all the curves and the driving since after I had the boys, I have a little bit of vertigo, which is not a lot of fun if anybody's ever had it. You get very nauseated very quickly.
And so I'm noticing here that Austin has braces.
Yes, they both did. Mm-hmm.
Both of the
Yep.
boys went through braces?
Yes, they both went through braces.
Now that we're getting into Austin being about 14,
Mhm.
and James would have been about 15,
Yep.
tell me what their relationship was like at that stage.
They actually were still they got along very well, and they started doing more chores in the sense of they would take turns. Their task was to load the dishwasher after dinner, and they did, and they didn't fight about it at all. They would just take turns, either 1 week on, 1 week off, or every other day, depending on what they wanted. And they definitely enjoyed playing their video games.
Now, we're looking at right before Austin would have started high school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And how was that transition into high school for Austin?
He did well. They both did well. I didn't notice any issues at all, or mood swings, or that they were, disgruntled going to school. They would get up. They were really responsible. They would get up right at 6 o'clock because the bus was so early for high school, and they did. They never even missed the bus.
Now, this is a school assignment, but you've heard it, right?
Yes, it's I believe it's his Spanish class that he had to do a recording for.
And I'm going to go ahead and play it so we can hear Austin talking about himself and the school assignment.
Okay.
Yo me llamo Austin. Yo tengo 14 años. Me cumpleaños es el 10 de junio. Soy de Raleigh, North Carolina. Yo soy flaca. Yo soy deportista. Yo soy tranquila. Yo soy creativa. Yo soy independiente. Me encanta jugar en una PS4. Me gusta ver la tele. No me gusta cantar. Yo odio leer. Cosas que me representan playa no tienen si es meter.
Was Austin good with his schoolwork?
Yes, they were both very good. You had mentioned that in middle school they made honor roll, and in high school they made honor roll.
And I believe in there he describes himself as calm, creative, and independent.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, that's a good description of him. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You mentioned earlier that one of the other activities the boys would do with Alan is fishing.
Mhm.
Is that what we're seeing here in this picture?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It looks like they're in Whiteville, North Carolina again, but I'm not positive. But yes, they like to do freshwater fishing.
And is this another one of those weekend trips?
Yes, that looks like it's in either Tennessee or Dollywood.
And so we have Austin at the forefront,
Yep.
Alan right beside him, and James behind him.
Yep, that was one of their last pictures.
And now, would this have been the first day of school in 2022?
Yes, mm-hmm. That was when James would drive to school with me in the passenger seat so he could get in his time that you had to put down on the sheet in order to get your learner's permit.
And I'm noticing that both boys seem to be a little over the first day of school picture. Is that fair?
Yes, that is fair for, I think, any high schooler, but yes.
So they begrudgingly did it for mom?
Yes, because I wanted it for the photo album.
So Miss Thompson, I want to sort of pause here and talk about a medication that Austin was on for about a year before all of this happened. So you mentioned last week that both boys had been on acne medication.
Yes,
Is that right?
they were.
Tell me what your memory is of Austin and acne medication.
I remember that he took it on time, once a day, and we would keep it in the bathroom because it was an easy reminder, and neither one of them had bad acne, but they had acne a little bit. So the medication, I don't remember the name of it, but it did clear up their skin, and I didn't notice any changes in his mood from taking the medication.
Do you know if he and James were on the same medication or different medications?
I believe they were on the same one.
Okay. Were you the one that would put in the order for the medication?
Yes, I would call it in. I would not pick it up.
And this photograph, does this look like something that you might have taken with your phone to remind yourself of what to call in? Oh,
Yes, that's definitely something I would have done because you go through the automated system and you have to read off that RX number.
And can we see the name of the medication? Right here, is that minocycline?
Yes.
Okay. And are these other examples of you photographing that medication to call it in?
Yes, it is.
And these three photographs, they were taken on October 12th, 2022. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any specific memory of ordering the medication that day?
No, not off the top of my head. I just remember that I took a picture of the entire bottle because I was not going to take it with me when I was calling it in.
Okay, thank you. I want to pause here for a minute and talk about the Austin Thompson that you know today.
Okay.
How often have you been able to see Austin since he's been in the detention center?
We would be able to see him every Sunday for 30 minutes until the budget cut happened, I want to say at the end of the summer maybe. And we would only get to see him once every 6 weeks or so, and for the same 30 minutes.
And are you also able to talk to him on the phone?
Yes, we get to talk to him every day for 15 minutes, which we did. Every single day we talked to him.
And if you can, we know that Austin has suffered a brain injury. Can you tell me
Yes.
what may have changed about Austin since having that brain injury?
Sure, he's still functioning, as we can see, but it was just kind of like an even keel as far as the personality, not sad or angry. He will still laugh, but the emotion is gone because the frontal lobe has been shot out, which is where you keep your emotion.
And as you have continued to talk to Austin, are you able to maintain a relationship with him?
Yes, we do. Yes, we get to talk to him on the phone, and Alan and I both will mail him something just about every week to open up. Because as you can imagine, being in any kind of center, living in any kind of center, it's very mundane, very routine.
And do you plan to continue to see him when he goes to prison?
Yes, absolutely.
And I know it might sound like a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you still love Austin?
Yes, dearly. Still hurts terribly, but yes, love him dearly.
I am going to step back to October 14th, okay?
Okay.
So the day after this.
Yep.
When was the first time that you saw Austin after this happened?
Oh, that was really traumatic. It was, if I remember correctly, the doctor and the nurses sat down with us around 10 o'clock or so the next day in a room and said that his brain activity was recovering and that only time would tell. And I remember the two nurses, one was on either side of me, and they were walking me to see him for the first time, and we were told we could just see him for like 15 minutes or something, and that there would always be a police officer there because of, unfortunately, the situation. And I remember looking to my side and saying to the nurse, "Oh, you can just tell me where he is, that's fine." And I remember her going, "He's right there," with her hand and all these tubes and everything. And what I remember happened was I went, "Oh, my baby," and I tried to cover my mouth because I started to scream. And I remember that they caught me because my knees just buckled. And then the next thing I remember is after I calmed down a little bit and wiped my tears away, I went to walk over to him, and I remember that he had so many tubes and IVs and everything that I don't even remember if I could touch his hand. There was so much equipment around him, which makes sense from a brain injury.
You're on the record on the screen. And is this a photograph that you took of him on the 15th?
Yep.
Are those the tubes that you were talking about?
Yep.
How long was he unconscious?
I want to say a few days, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Because that was in ICU. That was obviously right when it happened, and then right after he had brain surgery.
And what are we seeing in this photograph here?
That when the bullet went in his forehead, it went out the upper left side of his skull, and he did not have a skull for, I want to say, till the following March, maybe less, and they had to stitch up the entire side of his head, and it went all the way up.
And he did at some point wake up, right?
Yes, he did. Then they moved him to the regular pediatric wing.
And this photograph would have been taken about 10 days after this.
Yeah, he was still out of it, as you can see, from the brain injury.
And the glazed over look in his eyes.
Yeah, he wasn't really coherent, but I don't know how you could be. But we were there every day. We stayed in the hospital because our house was a crime scene. So we were at the hospital for like 2.5, 3 weeks.
And so you were with him every day?
Yes.
While he was in the hospital?
Yes, we stayed upstairs. The Wake Med had some type of cardiology hotel something, and they allowed us to stay there for the weeks that we were there, and we would see him all the time.
Ms. Thompson, how have your dreams for Austin changed?
They're gone. I know he did this horrible crime and that he has to pay for this crime, and I just hope that after I believe someone told me 40-year sentence, that hopefully he can be re-evaluated and have a mental analysis with another neurologist and whatever else needs to be done to see if he can go back into society, if he's capable of doing that. I do know that he mentioned prior to this tragedy that he was thinking of being a dental hygienist. So he had mentioned that maybe he could be a dental hygienist, whatever prison he goes to. But he didn't know, but he was just talking about it. So, and I said that would be a great idea to choose a job so that you're not so incredibly bored.
I don't have anything further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly. Good morning, Ms. Thompson.
Hello.
Thank you for being back with us and for the information that you shared for the court. I just want to touch on a couple of things that you kind of talked to Austin's lawyer about. And one of them is that you spent a lot of time with him while he was in the hospital, right?
Yes, we did.
And you spent your testimony is you spent a lot of time with him in the years leading up to all of this too, right?
Yes.
Would you say you guys were a pretty close-knit family?
Yes, we were a close-knit family.
And I think you would say the boys were pretty close-knit. They spent a lot of time together?
Yes, they did.
When they would go on these boys' weekends, would they go a couple times a year, or it was just the guys in the family would go and you would stay at home?
Yes, they did. I want to say, 2 or 3 times a year. 2 or 3. And it was a weekend, or maybe sometimes it was a long weekend.
You said multiple times throughout all of this that you didn't see any concerns or red flags or things that caused you to question the defendant, your son, Austin, and his mental state during those times.
Right. I did not see any red flags, and I didn't see any changes.
Right. And he kind of interacted with you the same way for the months and weeks and days leading up to the day of the attacks, right?
Yes, that's right.
At some point, you've all kind of talked about the differences between James and Austin. I mean, they're two different people, and
Of course, yes.
children have different personalities to some degree, right?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that James was the more outgoing and personable of the two sons?
Yes.
Would it also be fair to say that Austin, and I think you did say this, was the quieter of the two?
Yes, he was.
You said that he would warm up to people, but he was kind of like you. It would take
Like
him
me.
a little while to actually get to know you and then show you his personality.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And particularly since COVID, would you say that he didn't really have any close friends?
Yes, that's fair to say for him and his brother. Yes.
And no friends came over to the house to hang out that you're aware of?
No, only one, but it was years ago, like closer to middle school age.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of what you would refer to as friends were just people that he would know at school?
Yes, and his Sunday school class. Yes.
In his Sunday school class. You didn't get to know any of those friends that were at school?
I did not.
Okay.
No, we didn't spend time outside of school.
Right. Would Austin spend time alone in the house?
Yes. They would both be home alone from the time they got out of school, would get home, around 3:10, and then I normally get home at 5:30, 5:45, and Alan would usually get home by 6-ish, and then I would make dinner, and it would just be like a normal routine. If they had homework to finish, they would, and if not, they would play on their games or play on their iPads.
Or on their phones?
On the phone, yep. Normal teenage stuff.
Right. And so, through no fault of your own, I mean, you had to work and Alan had to work. There was a good chunk of the day when they were at home being independent.
Yes, between 2.5 to 3 hours till we got home, yes.
When you guys would get home, would they spend time in their rooms?
Yes, a lot of times one would be in their room while the other one was playing on the video games.
And then when it would be time to switch, they would switch and
Yep.
the other one would go and
Yep.
the other one would play the video game.
Yes, they were very agreeable about that.
Right. In fact, they set up this
Yes, they did
timeshare, right?
themselves. Mm-hmm.
Please check all cell phones, make sure they're on silent or turned off. Thank you.
You've kind of touched on this several times, but I think you've referred to them as independent.
Yes, we didn't have to, like when the alarm clock went off for school, they would get up on their own. We wouldn't have to say, come on, it's time to get up. We didn't have to drag that from them. They were very good that way. They were very responsible kids.
And you didn't have to get on them about doing their schoolwork. They did that themselves.
They did that by themselves. Mm-hmm.
They're pretty mature for their age, would you say?
Yeah, I would say that they were, and they were, yes, we didn't have to hound them or anything to finish their assignments or hand them in or study for tests or anything.
And sometimes they would make their own meals. Isn't that fair?
They,
Like at night?
yes, they would do nighttime, before bed, they would make themselves bacon and egg sandwiches.
And you didn't
That
have
was
to worry.
the-
You didn't have to worry about them using the stove or anything like that.
No, they were teenagers.
Right.
It was okay.
Because they were, but particularly Austin, so, would you say self-motivated?
Yes,
Okay.
because they did their assignments and studying for tests and stuff on their own. So yes, I would say self-motivated.
Because they were, and you didn't have these major concerns or things that were showing to you, you didn't have any reason in your mind to go and look at his phone or his internet search history, did you?
I did not, because whenever I would walk into the room or anything, they weren't like, Austin wasn't like hiding his phone or quick throwing it down or quick closing his laptop screen. I didn't have any of that behavior, not even once.
And if you had, you might have gone and looked at
Yeah, then it would be like, oh, what's going on?
So you don't know, or at the time, you didn't know what Austin was necessarily looking at while he was on the internet. Fair?
No, I did. Yes, that's fair to say. I did not know.
And you didn't have some parental locks or something on his phone where he was restricted to certain locations or certain websites that he could go to, right?
I did not.
And so, at some point, have you found out the types of things that the defendant was looking at on his phone?
Yes, there was something like 100,000 searches, and that very small amount of them were hunting and criminal. And I do know that he looked up the mass shooting that was in my hometown in Buffalo, New York. I do know that he looked that up.
Because you're from Buffalo, New York,
Yes, and there was a shooting there. Yes.
right? Did you know that he was looking up other mass shootings other than just those two?
No, I did not.
Did you know that he was looking up and searching torture methods
No, I did not know that.
and pictures of people who had been tortured? You didn't know that either, did you?
No, I did not.
And so is it fair to say that there is was a portion of Austin's life that you were not aware of?
Yes, that's fair to say.
And that may be normal,
Yeah,
Right.
as a teenager.
right? And you were doing the best that you could to raise both of them, right?
Sure, yes.
And I think you said on multiple occasions that you love Austin still, right?
Yes, I do.
And you spent a lot of time with him when he was in the hospital, as any mother should, right?
Yes, I did.
And when you were there, you took some photos of his injuries,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been there with him every step of the way that you were allowed to since then, correct?
Yes, that's true.
And you intend to continue that, is that fair?
Yes, I want to stay in his life.
And when it's his birthday, around that time, do you reach out and wish him a happy birthday?
Yes.
And
it's
Christmas
encouraged.
and all
Yep.
those things, right? You get to participate in those portions of his life still,
Yes.
and you will continue to do so no matter what the sentence here is, correct?
Yes, I will. Mm-hmm.
And you said at some point that you mail Austin things, I think maybe once a week, so he has something to open up while he's in there?
Yes.
What types of things are you sending him so that he can have something to open up?
I would try and look up jokes, things like I think it's called Blue Comedy. It's You Might Be a Redneck If, and then there's a whole list, and then a couple of them are the funny things that kids say, little kids will say, you know how they put their foot in their mouth. And then some of them were funny, the Darwin Awards, which is like stupid ways that people have passed away.
And you send him books and things like that?
Yes.
What types of books do you send him?
James Patterson books, John Grisham, a couple of Tom Clancy books, but those are really thick, so those take a long time.
Pretty dense books?
Yeah.
All right.
So
And
just
he's
a
able
couple
to
of
read
those.
them and tell you that he's read them?
Yes, and then I tried to finish up the series that's Diary of a Wimpy Kid for him.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yeah, more of a younger youth. Mm-hmm.
Were you aware of Austin's, I know you talked about him hunting and guns in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware of his interest in, or any interest that he may have had in violence or these mass shootings or other types of weapons?
No, not at all. If I did, of course, I would try and, find a specialist of some kind.
And you didn't?
I didn't know.
And he didn't share this portion of his life with you?
No.
In fact, are you aware of the chapstick container that you and Alan located?
Yes, I found it.
And there were some steps that were gone through to conceal what was inside of there, correct?
Yes, it was an empty chapstick thing.
And with rolled up papers
Yes,
inside.
that's where it was. Mm-hmm.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
A little bit about and showed us the photos that you had taken on the minocycline, the medicine that was taken, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
How long was he on that medicine,
I want to
approximately?
say almost a year. I'm pretty sure.
And I think you even testified on direct that you saw no changes in him other than his skin clearing up.
Yes, you're right.
And so at the time of this attack, the defendant had already been on that medicine for over at least almost a year.
Yes.
And did he ever complain to you about feeling out of it as a result of taking that medicine?
No.
Did you
Never.
ever see anything that indicated to you that he looks out of it now that he's taken this medicine?
No,
Or-
I didn't see anything.
Kind of on autopilot doing something and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And him saying, oh, I don't know why I did that.
No, we didn't have any of that symptoms.
Right. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Burnett?
Briefly. Ms. Thompson, the state was just asking you about the searches on Austin's phone.
Okay.
Have you and I spent a lot of time talking about the specific searches on Austin's phone?
A little bit.
Have we gone into great detail about that?
No, we have not.
Have you learned a lot about that watching the court proceedings or hearing about the court proceedings?
Yes, I learned more. Mm-hmm.
And the state specifically asked you about torture and searches about torture on his phone. Were you aware of searches on his phone about dinosaurs?
No.
Was he hiding dinosaurs from you?
No.
Would it surprise you that there were more searches about dinosaurs than torture?
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
Thank you. No further questions.